everybody, and welcome to another edition of Browns Latest. I am Dave Grendzynski, and this is where you can come and get some of the latest news on our Cleveland Browns and also a 10-minute take along the way. Now, normally, I ask you to like and subscribe here, but I was told by a viewer not to do that. I should not be begging for likes and for people to subscribe. So I'm not going to do that here, but we will talk a little bit more about this later in the show. Speaking of that, coming up on the show, the Browns personnel director just pieced out for Tennessee. But I am going to tell you why this could be the best thing to happen to us since 2009. So stick around for that. Also, the NFL draft television ratings came out, and boy, oh boy, did the Browns have a massive impact on what happened with this year's draft and the people who watched it. Also, did you see this rookie quarterback poll that's out? It involves Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel. And so we're going to talk about this because it's a little bit surprising, folks. And then also we have some more viewer comments. They just keep getting better and better. We'll get to those as well. But first things first. So the Browns personnel director, whose name is Dan Saganay, he's been the director of player personnel since 2009, and he's pieced out, going to Tennessee. He's been the director of he's been with the Browns since 2009, been the director of player personnel since 2016. Now, here's the thing. First of all, he's leaving for Tennessee, and his role isn't even established yet. They're saying it's going to be some kind of high-level scouting role, but whatever. I mean, Tennessee also poached Bill Callahan from us, but that was a little different. I mean, Bill Callahan went to go coach with his son. He was so great with the offensive line here, but now we have Mike Bloomberg, so we're in good hands. But here's the thing with Saganay. Here's what I wonder. How much of an impact has he had on some of these draft picks over the years? Maybe Andrew Berry isn't the problem. Could it have been Saganay? I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now going forward with draft picks because, I mean, Saganay's been there. I mean, he's been in this role since 2016. So for the last 9 years, which, let's go back and look at these drafts, folks. I mean, outside of a Myles Garrett and, the Nick Chubb, there isn't much to talk about. So you really have to wonder how much of an impact Saganay has had on these drafts over the years. And, I'm just really curious to see how much better our drafts will get going forward. So, interesting move. I was digging to see if there was any reason why he's leaving for Tennessee. And I don't know, maybe it's just some things run its course. But I can't really find anything on why he's leaving. But he's leaving, and it could be very beneficial for us. We'll see going forward. Now, speaking of big moves. Did you see the NFL draft ratings? They were through the roof, which of course is expected. So the draft averaged 7.5 million viewers, right? That's a 27% increase over last year. It was the second most watched draft on record. But what was interesting is what happened over the weekend, especially on day 3. So on day 3, remember, Saturday, you had a full slate of Major League Baseball games. You had playoff games in the NBA and the NHL, including our Cleveland Cavaliers, who were busy beating the tar out of the Miami Heat. But you had all that going on. But still, the NFL draft on that Saturday averaged 4.3 million viewers. That is the most watched day 3 on record, a 40% increase over last year. Now, why are we talking about this on a Browns show? Many believe it was Shedeur Sanders. Everybody watching to see where Shedeur was going to end up. And so it was a ratings driver. And yeah, I mean, the NFL's not going to complain, And so the drama and everything, all that surrounding it, had a lot to do. I mean, I think the Shedeur Sanders thing had a lot to do. Now, the thing to pay attention to now is, and we'll talk about this more on a later show, but let's see what the Shedeur Sanders effect, the kind of effect it has on the Browns' schedule. Remember, the schedule release is May 14th, and so It'll be interesting to see. I mean, there's no guarantee he's going to be playing, so you really don't know what. But maybe later in the year, you might see us with some 425 games, or that's where that Monday night game might fall. I don't know. I mean, if they just try to anticipate Shadir Sanders playing, but I'll tell you what, there's no denying the kid is a ratings driver. And so, speaking of that, how about listen to this? So I don't know if you've seen this rookie quarterback rating poll that is out. So the good folks over at the Daily Dog, they follow the Browns, they put up a poll. The question is, which rookie quarterback do you want to see play the most? In my head, I thought it was going to be a landslide, Shadir Sanders. But here's how it's the last time I checked, this is how it was breaking down. It was 53% to 47% Dylan Gabriel, not Shadir Sanders. I was surprised by that. I was surprised that it was so, 50-50. I really thought Sanders would have been the one that Browns fans wanted to see the most, but that is not the case. And so we might have another this might be a thing, folks. We might have a divided house here when it comes to the quarterback situation. And, I just hope, and we're going to dive into this more in a later show, but boy, oh boy, Flacco throws 2 picks in a row. Look out. Here come the chance. I just hope that doesn't happen. But I got to give Sanders some credit. He's already out doing his thing. People have seen him out running hills already. He's here. I mean, he's in Northeast Ohio doing his thing. He visited John Marshall High School the other day, and he spoke to the kids, gave them an inspirational message. He also spent some time answering questions. He says he knows he's got a lot of eyes on him, and he knows that he needs to be a role model for the youth in Northeast Ohio and also, around the country. And so, he's talking the talk and he's walking the walk. And like we've mentioned in previous shows, that whole situation with the draft slide and the prank call and all of the nonsense, everything that led up to the draft, all of that appears to have had a positive effect on him. And boy, he is doing all of the right things so far. And that brings us to our viewer comments. And we will start with our man, Go Bucks 7870. He says, Shadur has been raised under bright lights and huge expectations. He says, what you saw from Shadur when the prank call happened is who he is and who he has been. First day in Cleveland, and he's in the gym and running hills. He's coming for the doubters, and I'm all in for it. I'm a new Browns fan because of Shadur and what he stands for. And you know what, Go Bucks 7870? We need more of that. We need that type of attitude from the fans. We've got to turn this around, folks. We're a big part of this as well. The negativity doesn't help. So glass half full, positive thinking. He's leaning into Shadur. That's great. We're in a good situation here, folks, with our quarterback situation. But to be fair, this is like when you run the political ads, you run one person, you have to run the other one. Here's the other side. Joseph Dively says, Shadir doesn't have first-round talent. If he did, they would have ignored all the headaches he brings and taken him in the first round. In reality, he's about a third-round talent who kept falling because he is just mediocre but carries a lot of baggage. Okay, Joseph Dively, before the draft, I would have said, you're probably right. But here's the thing. Even if he is third-round talent, we got him in the 5th round, so there's value there. But everything we have seen, I'm not even going to talk about what you hear people say, because who knows? That could be either here or there. But what we have seen since he has become a Cleveland Brown, very, very encouraging. So I am going to go on that. It's all of those things we just talked about, visiting high schools already, running hills, and he knows he is a role model. Hey, how about Jim Slancio? He says, it may be a steal, but we will not know and should not speculate until we see Sanders perform on the field. And that's true. And like I said in the previous show, this could all be part of a package deal for next year, right? Whether it's Gabriel or Sanders, you got the 2 first-round picks. There is so much that is going to play out here over the next 10, 12 months that, we need to crystal ball to figure it out. That's the only way to know. But to me, it's a win-win. And either the Flacco, Sanders, Gabriel situation establishes our quarterback of the future, or we end up with a super high draft pick. Hopefully Jacksonville tanks, and we end up with 2 high draft picks, and we go out and get Drew Aller or Manning or whoever's there, whoever we want, and we move on from there. So like I said, to me, it's a win-win. And finally, Infinite Darkness 9476. He says, anytime anybody tells me to like and subscribe, I thumbs down and I don't subscribe. Stop begging for clicks. If your content is good enough, people will subscribe. But begging people to do it is pretty pathetic. And you know what, Infinite Darkness 9476? You're right. Begging for likes and people to subscribe is pathetic. So I will not beg for people to like and subscribe, like I said at the beginning of the show. So I won't even mention liking or subscribing. I won't even mention this time adding viewer comments to any of the shows, because the conversation has been outstanding. But I'm not going to mention adding viewer comments. Please, I won't do it. I won't say put some viewer comments in there. But the viewer comments are always there, so I mean they're pretty visible. So is the like button and the subscribe button. So, but thank you so much, Infinite Darkness 9476, for the tip. I really appreciate it. Go Browns, buddy. Let's go. All right, that's gonna do it for today's show. We'll see you next time.